Alright, YouTube, so we're back, of course, to talk about some Square Enix. So what we're talking about today doesn't necessarily pertain to Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Remake, and at least as of right now, maybe doesn't pertain to the Final Fantasy series itself. What we got was another end-of-the-year message, but it was actually from the Square Enix CEO and president, Yosuke Matsuda, and he kind of talks about the future, like, going into 2022 with, like blockchain gaming and NFTs, and there's a lot of backlash within the community, kind of rightfully so. Now, before we even really get into it, my dudes, I don't know enough about NFTs to really, give you a hot take on it, so I'm not here to, shit on NFTs or whatever the case. Now, it is fun to make fun of, the fact that people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars for an image that we can go out there, right-click, save into your gallery on your phone. It's kind of funny to make fun of a meme. But there is money to be made from this. It is a legitimate thing. It's just like, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and stuff's been out for 10, 15 years. I remember my brother telling me about it a long time ago. Flash forward to, 2021 and shit, and Bitcoin's legit. I mean, it's worth, tens of thousands of dollars for one Bitcoin. It's like a real thing. Cryptocurrency is a real thing these days, and it's kind of joked about and laughed at back in the day. That also being said, I don't even entirely understand cryptocurrency. It's just something I'm not interested in. It's not anything I've ever cared about, dove into, read up on. It's not, I carry cash on me, right? Got money in the bank. That's all that matters. That's all. What is a cryptocurrency? But we've already seen, a lot of game companies try to get into the NFT market. One that comes to mind that's super recent is Stalker 2, which is coming out sometime later this year, I think in April. They were trying to somehow incorporate NFTs into that game, and there's a massive fan backlash from it, and they just outright canceled NFTs. So, regardless of what people do or don't understand NFTs, they simply don't want it in video games, at least as of right now. And as sad as it is to say, this is the difference between a company that does and doesn't care about their fan base, because I don't blame them for trying to, because again, there's money to be made from NFTs, even if I don't entirely understand it. They tried it with Stalker 2, the fans didn't want it, so they outright canceled it entirely with their game, whereas going forward, Square Enix is just going to do it. It doesn't matter how pissed off we are. If we're pissed off, if we don't care, if we don't want it, they're just going to do it anyways. Also, Matsuda talks about Metaverse, which is another thing that I just haven't really even taken the time to look into, because there's so much gimmicky bullshit out there. I just do not care about whatever Metaverse is trying to offer. It's just that episode of Black Mirror. Now, I'm not going to read over this whole quote from Matsuda, just because, as you've seen, there's 3 different images with a shit ton of paragraphs and a lot of text, and we don't need to read everything, just kind of the parts that sort of matter, or at least are worth discussing. Still going to be lengthy reads, but I'm not going to read the whole damn thing. Another term that gained quick currency in 2021 was NFT, or non-fungible token. The advent of NFTs using blockchain technology significantly increased the liquidity of digital goods, enabling the trading of a variety of such goods at high prices and sparking conversations the world over. I see 2021 not only as Metaverse Year 1, but also as NFTs Year 1, given that it was a year in which NFTs were met with a great deal of enthusiasm by a rapidly expanding user base. However, we do observe examples here and there of overheated trading in NFT-based digital goods with somewhat speculative overtones, regardless of the observed value of the content provided. This obviously is not an ideal situation, but I expect to see an eventual right-sizing in digital goods deals as they become more commonplace among the general public, with the value of each available content corrected to their true estimated worth, and I look for them to become as familiar as dealing in physical goods. Now, with this quote, Matsuda already points out some of the problems with NFTs, the overheated trading of NFT-related goods, the speculation from people, despite there being seeing the value of these things. But just because you can make an NFT, you can make some digital item, and people give you $300,000. I mean, stuff's only worth what people are willing to pay. That doesn't mean that there's any tangible value to it to a lot of other people out there. Just because you see one guy buy this picture of a fucking monkey for $300,000, $300,000. Doesn't mean that it holds that value for the rest of us. And as for digital goods becoming as familiar, as commonplace as physical goods, that'll probably happen eventually. Again, NFTs, I'm sure, even if they're already kind of big right now, I'm sure they'll be commonplace a few years from now. It will be a regular thing, but as of right now, a lot of people are apprehensive. Lastly is blockchain games. Be they single player or online games have traditionally involved a unidirectional flow whereby creators such as ourselves provide a game to the consumers that play them. By contrast, blockchain games, which have emerged from their infancy and are at this very moment entering a growth phase, are built upon the premise of a token economy and therefore hold the potential to enable self-sustaining game growth. The driver that most enables such self-sustaining game growth is diversity, both in how people engage with interactive content like games and in their motivations for doing so. Advances in token economies will likely add further momentum to this trend of diversification. I see the play-to-earn concept that has people so excited as a prime example of this. So kind of a TLDR on blockchain gaming, of course it's not the actual full description, are games that use cryptocurrency and also NFTs. So you can like buy like weapons, items in the game, whatever they might be, and you own them. In a previous recording, I said physically own them, which obviously you don't because it's a digital item, but you own it, whatever it is, and you can resell it in-game, oftentimes for actual cryptocurrency. Maybe you can sell them to other players for actual, money or cash, something like that. You can make money from video games, which isn't necessarily new. I know the one that comes to mind for me is CSGO. I remember that was the thing back in the day. I used to watch like people open up chests and shit, try to pull like a really expensive knife so they can like sell it, pull up the website where you can see the value of like the guns and weapons they're pulling and shit. Now I don't think that's entirely the exact same thing, though it's kind of a good comparison because those items have value because players made them have value, but you never own those items, right? You have, your character has them, your account has them in game, but you never own that gun, own that knife, whereas with NFTs and blockchain gaming and all this other stuff, you do own them. Now, with the quote, Matsuda talks about, blockchain gaming having self-sustaining growth, and what I think he means by that, if I'm interpreting correctly, is because they'd provide the game, but because we're buying, items in the game, like, maybe that would help fund the game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but by us, constantly using real-world money or cryptocurrency to buy things in the game, things you want to own from the game, whatever it might be, that would help, the self-sustaining economy, essentially. One thing that keeps happening is every time I read the word self-sustaining with these Matsuda quotes, is I think of the Dave & Buster's episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Hey, I think we made every single one of our Patty's dollars back, buddy. You're damn right. Thus creating the self-sustaining economy we've been looking for. That's right. How much fresh cash did we make? Fresh cash? Yes. Well, zero. Zero if you're talking about U.S. currency. How does this work, Mac? The money keeps moving in a circle. But we don't have any money. All we have is this. How does this work, dude? I don't know. I thought you... What? How does a self-sustaining economy work? I don't understand how the U.S. economy works, much less some sort of self-sustaining one. I don't understand how finances work.
I'm feeling exactly like Mac and Dennis when I'm trying to talk about this shit. But something I did like about Matsuda's quote there is that he talks about the play-to-earn concept, which I think is kind of interesting. So if they come out with some sort of video game in the next year or two or whatever the case, where you can like play the video game but like earn like maybe cryptocurrency or earn NFTs that you can then turn into actual money, like that's a pretty interesting idea. Now I don't know if there's some sort of buy-in if it's a normal game that you have to pay $60-$70 for, and then you can also play to earn. By the way, man, if you can just like play a video game and make money off of it, that's kind of an interesting idea. Imagine if you earned an NFT that's worth $100 just by playing the game for so many hours or whatever the case. Like that's kind of interesting, man. If it ends up being something that's sustainable and something that actually takes off, like it's a side hustle. You can make money from video gaming, dude. That's pretty cool. There's at least something here that's interesting, even if we maybe don't fully understand it, but I don't even have to understand NFTs to be able to look up the value of an NFT and sell the fucking thing. That's all I need to know. So with this paragraph, I just wanted to read the first part. It says, I realize that some people who play to have fun and who currently form the majority of players have voiced their reservations towards these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute, by which I mean help make the game more exciting. So I found that particularly interesting because earlier with this New Year's quote thing, he talks about the problems with NFTs, the overheated stuff, whatever the case, and then with this quote talks about how the majority of players have reservations about this shit, but doesn't even care. Still is going to go forward with it because of that small minority that might be interested in it. And what we call those people in at least like microtransactions and the gacha games and stuff, we call those people whales, people that spend a shit ton of money on video games. That's who he's targeting. And really, that's what this all boils down to, of course. I mean, they are obviously a business, they're a company, they're here to make money, but that's all this is the newest hot gimmick to make money. That's why they're trying to get into it, they're trying to get into it early. Will NFTs be around for the foreseeable future? Probably. Will they be around forever? I don't really know. And unless I can make money from video games with them, I don't really care. My dudes, I will link to Wario64's tweet about this if you want to read over the full thing to maybe try to understand it all. I think we should wrap the video up. We're talking way too long about this shit for something that I don't even entirely understand. Now, if you want to try to explain it to me in the comments below a little bit more, maybe make your boy understand NFTs, blockchain gaming, cryptocurrency, and the like. If you know more about that shit than I do, for sure, let me know. What I do want to know from you guys is, are you excited to potentially pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a cloud NFT skin at some point? That sounds pretty exciting. Jokes aside, of course, what are your thoughts on blockchain gaming and NFTs for the future of Square Enix? I don't even know what their plans are that, in terms of like series. Are they want to make like standalone blockchain games, or they want to, dip into their IPs, or they want to make a Dragon Quest or a Final Fantasy NFT style game or blockchain game? I don't know. Don't know how I feel about it right now. And at least as of right now, this does seem to be somewhat the future of gaming, and you can voice your opinions and the backlash online, but I think with a company like Square Enix, that shit's not really going to matter. My dudes, that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new ones that did more Square Enix, NFT, blockchain, gaming, cryptocurrency news. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT, and my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.